So for the practical of the firewall, what we need to do is we need to search for firewall, or maybe we can simply go for the Windows Defender. We can search. We can go to both the options. We can go to Windows Defender Firewall, which opens a generally control panel, or maybe we can go to Windows Firewall with advanced security. I'll just open Windows Defender Firewall to show you how does it looks like, because it may happen that you will land up on this page. So if you land up here, you just go to the particular advanced settings. This will open your Windows Defender. So this is the actual firewall which we need to work upon, to particularly for the aspect of practical also. And in generally we say the Windows Defender is the particular firewall system which we can use for your security part. So what is to be done in the particular practical? These are the three profiles. Generally, we work on the profiles, which is like you can say domain profile, private profile, public profile. Public profile is the sense कि overall public network में how exactly we are placed. In private profile, it's more like a very small network, which is, say for example, in labs, the only lab computer, say suppose 30 PCs are there, the 30 PCs are connected with each other. That is more like a private profile or private network for the communication. And that private network can be seen, so to say, or so to say, handled, controlled with the firewall in a private profile. And domain profile is the overall profile where maybe we can say the whole college's network is on one domain. So now in the particular whole domain, how do we want to particularly navigate? So for example, maybe I don't want to have certain computers to be accessed by the whole college. So I'll can particularly schedule, or so to say, figure out rules for the particular aspects of the those computers. So what is exactly to be done on these firewalls? So we can to see this particular after this particular profile, you can see there is something called as inbound rule, outbound rule, and these are the particular rules which we create for the particular part of say controlling, blocking, allowing, or say only allow whenever it is secure communication with the program, with the port, etc., etc. We can schedule everything, or more like do the particular aspects, specify the specific rules here in the inbound and outbound rule. As name suggests, inbound rule means the any network which is coming inside the computer, so to say. So communication from the network to the to the in to the computer. And outbound rule means any particular communication which is going from the computer to the network. So you may think it is more like a coming, so to say, we requesting anything out on the network, and this is network requesting or replying to the particular communication which we have requested for the same computer part. Other than that, we can also definitely go for the import policy, export policies, which is like, say, suppose these 30 PCs, I don't have to go on all the 30 PCs and form, or so to say, set up all the inbound rules, outbound rules for each and every 30 computer. Maybe I scheduled, say, 50 new rules. So I don't have to schedule 50 new rules for each 30 PCs. That would be, let's say, 1500 rules. That is humanly impossible to do for a very small team for a very, say, short time. But what we can do is we can, so to say, go for the export policy option, which is like, let's suppose I set up all the 50 rules on my one PC, on my one computer. After doing that, I can simply say export policy. So whatever policy was created in that PC will be exported in a file format. Once that is exported, we can simply copy paste that file to all the other PCs, and we can simply import the policy for that particular computer. So let's suppose computer one, we did all the mehnat, and after that particular scenario, every other computer will simply import the policy for implementing the same rules which is computer one has. That is the particular scenario with the policy importing or exporting, or more like translating the policies. Other than that, the restore default policy option is there. So suppose I feel that okay, 50 rules were incorrect, maybe that is wrong. So now I need a new policy to be created. I don't again have to, let's say, keep importing policy, because that may collide with, more like the rules may collide with each other if I actually import other, say, maybe for example, the previous policy said to block the, say, TCP communication. But on another rule, whenever I imported through a policy, says allow TCP communication. So these kind of controversial, or more like not so helping each other rules if are there. So these can cause failures, and we definitely don't want those security failures. So there we need to, so to say, maybe we can restore the particular default policy and then import the new policies which we created. So that is overall scenario with this Windows firewall. Now what we can do is, so to say, how can I create a rule? So you can see, if on the left hand side panel we have inbound rule, outbound rules. So on the inbound rule, whenever you connect on the inbound rules, you can see the list of the rules which are already existing on your PC. Out of all these PCs, you can see there are profiles written. So I can definitely see public, domain, and private, all. So basically, those were the same profile which we talked about. You can see enabled. Enabled means these are the active rules which are currently, so to say, working. So you can see there are few no rules, means those are not active rules. So here also you can see on the left hand side of their names, there is no mark as such, but on certain connection, on certain rules, I can see green tick mark. That basically means the particular, so to say, the rule is enabled, the rule is active, the communication is happening via through, or so to say, that communication is, so to say, secured with those, so to say, rules. Then I can see, here you can also see a red mark, a red cross in that particular part. So in the particular red, the red cross basically means that communication is blocked. So you can see action says communication, action says block, and whenever there are green marks, that says action is allow. So basically, these are the type of actions which we can follow. As I said, allow and block the communication. You can see program. So here few says any, few says specific link, or path is given for the program. You can see protocol defined, you can see local ports defined. So you, even in the port, you can see any written, means any communication happening on that any, so to say, specific program with that particular local port works, but any remote port I have to particularly allow that communication. But for the particular part of local port, I have to allow the communication which is happening only on 8080 or 8082. That is the particular scenario here. So these kind of rules which can be required for our specific profile can be created. So let's create a new rule. So to create a new rule, you can see on the right hand side panel, inbound rules. In the inbound rules, new rule is there. So in the new rule, you can see these kind of options. So for the new inbound rule, you can see program, port, predefined, or custom. If you select predefined, you can see the names of the particular protocols. These are more like the systems which are created, or in a way, your profiles created, predefined created profiles. So these are the rules which you can directly select and implement. It's like the requirement is, we know that if this is the particular connection control we would like to have, so we can directly use them. But other than that, you can see port. So I would like to, so to say, have a rule created for a specific port. Then the particular port communication can be selected, and specifically for a program, more like, let's say, application. A very simple example would be your examination. Let's say you have a computer-based examination. On that computer-based examination, you should be working on a specific port, specific things. You are not allowed to access maybe Chrome, maybe your Chat GPT, etc., etc. So there is a very specific requirement of a communication which should be happening on a server, because we need to make sure that no student is trying to hack the system and trying to get into the same server which is holding your exam, so to say, marking your scores, etc. So what we can do is we can define new rules for that particular program, and we can make sure that communication is happening very specific in a very specific manner through that program. It can be implemented also in banks. Generally, bank servers will be connected with different ports, different protocols, to make sure that that is not a regular port communication happening. And we would like to make sure that specifically the communication should be done on a secure lines. So these kind of things can be there, and then you can see the custom option. So whenever I select the custom option, you can see left hand side has now changed, and on the particular left panel I can see program, protocol, scope, action, etc. etc. So overall, these are the general options which I can use for any kind of inbound rule. These are the options which I have to set up. So we'll continue with the custom rule. We'll go on the next. Here I can see all programs or this program path. So as you can see, it is specifying a browser. So I can select a specific program for the particular implementation and define the rule for only that program, or I can say for all the programs follow this rule. So I'm continuing with this particular part, but maybe there can be requirement of the specific program path. So even in the exam, if I have given you specific path of the program, you need to particularly enter that specific path of the program for the creation of the rule. Inbound or outbound for the both the conditions. Similarly, you can see protocol types. So here these are the protocol types. So you can go through the protocol types and you can define what exactly these things keep doing. But for now, I'll go for any. Any basically means any kind of protocol which is going through this particular program, this particular way, this specific way, we will be allowing it or blocking it. That is the particular things I would like to make sure. So, for example, maybe I can block a TCP communication. Say I would like to block protocol communication 3. I would like to select local port all, or I can specify the port very specifically. Say maybe I would like to block say 22, that is SSH port. So I would like to make sure that program on the program SSH port should not be having the particular accessibility. Anyone should not be able to access my SSH communication from outside. So maybe let's block that particular part. So any program, we have selected any program. In the protocol part, I have selected TCP. I have selected local port specification 22. Again, I'll go here also 22 remote port, and 22 I'll specify here. And then next, if I click, now I can see IP addresses. So now here I can see local IP addresses and remote IP addresses. It's more like local in the sense the IP addresses which are there in the same network, and remote is more on the particular, not in the same network part. So I can define, as I said, maybe from the whole college, I don't want you to access a very specific servers. Maybe those are exam servers, or they have information about the college, so to say, maybe admin department, etc. So I don't want to. I would like to make sure that you don't access those maybe from labs. So I'll add those particular IP addresses specifically here, and then make sure that communication is blocked. For the remote, I can do same. For that, for this matter, I'm continuing the IP addresses as same. But in exam, again, I can give you specific IP addresses which you need to work upon for the rule formation. Then you can see the main scenario. So you can see scope. Scope basically means defining which IP addresses are allowed, which IP addresses are not allowed, etc. Now in the action, you can see allow connection, allow it connection if it is secure, or block the connection. So these are the three major actions which we can take. Allow connection basically means even if it is not protected with IP security, it will simply allow the connection. So there is no, so to say, checks done. Then second part is allow connection with the if it is secure. So we need to particularly work on IP security. IP security is one of the concepts which you may search later. But yes, it is important in general for the IP security part. So, but it will basically this particular type of action will check if IP security is there, I can also customize the rules related to IP security, and if those security checks are done, then only it will allow the communication, else it will block the communication. And this basically means block any kind of communication. Reason being ki we don't want to have that communication overall. So I'm right now selecting program, just revising all the scenarios. So rule type custom, then program we have selected all, protocol 22 because I would like to block the particular SSH communication. Scope, I'm blocking communication for all the IP addresses. Action, block the connection, and profile is the particular part which is we can select the type of profile. So here I'm selecting all the type of profiles because I don't want to have that SSH connection everywhere. And then name the protocol. So for example, I'll write block SSH connection, and in the description you can see this description, although it is optional, but please do mention because it is possible that these policies are getting maybe will be handled by others. So for the particular part of description, I'll write say block all IPs for SSH connection on 22 port. So this is the port 22, I would say, on port 22 TCP protocol. So basically these are the specifications or these are specific settings which we have done for the particular part of communication. So finish, whenever you click on the finish, you will be able to see your rule here. So one is you can see now the red mark is there. So since red mark is there, basically it is enabled. Then I can see particularly disable the rule. Whenever I click on disable the rule, you can see enable ka option may you can see no as a in a entry. So basically now it is not enabled. So I guess should be enabling it if I don't want to particularly have any kind of SSH communication. Maybe I would like to have SSH communication for a very smaller window period. Then I can disable these rules. On the properties, if I click, I can see the similar connection setups which I have done. So I can go through the scope. I can maybe apply it for specific program. So these changes can be also done in between. It is not very fixated. Once this rule is created, so only that rule will be implemented. That it is not like that. So we can change the specific requirements for the particular part. So that is the overall scenario with. So you need to particularly change anything. If you change anything, you need to click on apply and then click on OK. So this is how we create a inbound rule in the particular Windows Defender Firewall. And the particular scenario, maybe you can also go through these state, group, profile. You can check all these options, but this is the basics which we need to do for the practical part for examination. Then outbound rules are exactly same. Just the particular communication part which they are handling is from your computer to the network. So overall, let's suppose I would like to also block the particular SSH communication going outward. Then for that particular matter, I will select rule type custom. I'll go next. I'll select all the programs. Next. I'll go TCP. I'll go for TCP protocol type, specific ports. I'll select 22. Specific ports. I'll select 22 again here, and then I'll continue next. Next for IP addresses. Don't have to change anything. Block the connection which is going outward. Select all the profiles because I would like to specify it for all the profiles. You may particularly select for different profiles. So for example, here you can say home, workplace, that's a private network, corporate domain, that's a domain level network, and public domain, that's your public network overall in the profile. Name, I'll write block SSH. I'll write similarly block SSH on TCP protocol. with port 22 and finish. So this will create outbound rule for the blocking SSH communication. So these are the particular scenarios. So in examination, I'll be specifically giving you a specific protocol to be blocked, ports to be blocked, IP addresses to be blocked, or maybe allow with security. So whatever options are given to you in the particular um, examination question that you have to follow, and that is the particular way by which you can finish the firewall practical in the Windows part. So this is just the Windows part which is there. Please delete those rules once you are done with the particular part, because we don't want these kind of communications overall blocked in our PCs right now. So once your practical is done, also I'll request you to delete those protocols or at least disable them. If you want to have them, you can have them, but please make sure you disable them at least for the particular communication part. Once you are done with the practical, you may delete it or maybe disable it, but make sure you do not delete other protocols for that matter, because that will, so to say, create a issue, create errors for your other program. For example, let's suppose deleted this, so there can be something related to Java binary protocol communication, which will be so to say blocked or maybe not working properly. So this is the first part of the firewall, that is Windows Defender Firewall. Now I'll take you to Kali Linux for the Linux firewall part. So for the Linux part, we can simply move to Oracle VirtualBox. So this is the particular Oracle platform which we know and which we should know definitely, because this is the practical exam will be uh, done on the particular Kali Linux operating system. So you should be aware of the platform, how to navigate it into the particular platform. So we have username password both as Kali, and whenever you go to the particular platform, this is root emulator. So I'll actually close everything and we'll start from very basics. So this is how your maybe desktop will look like. These wallpaper can be different, but here is the main option which you need to work upon. So here on the particular left hand top side, you can see the particular terminal emulator. Instead of terminal emulator, you select root emulator. For example, if I select terminal emulator, here you can see root emulator. So select that option because we would like to have you to have root access. So I'll again type just Kali and you will be in the root emulator. I'm just closing the regular emulator. Okay. So this is the root emulator. I can see root Kali. So in the particular scenario, we are saying how we can particularly create firewall settings in Kali Linux or in general Linux also, because any Linux will have the similar feature which is called as IP tables. So IP tables is the particular feature which is there for the particular part of my, so to say, um, Linux systems. So Linux may we need to use IP tables for the IP table as a command, and in the commands we need to particularly perform certain actions, set up certain actions to make sure that particular so to say rules are created. So how to create those rules, that is the particular part which we can see. To see the particular overall rules, what are the rules which we have in the system, I need to type iptables space dash l. That's the command to see the particular rule setup done into the system. So here now I can see chain input, chain forward, chain output. So these are the three options, or in a way we can say these are the chains, but these chains are basically tables. So tables are basically where we are saying any rule can be created in three formats. One is input rule, another is output rule, which is similar to inbound and outbound. But the third possibility which we have is which is called as also in generally also at times called as IP forwarding, which is more like I will be doing some setup which can say communication can try and come to my specific PC. That particular communication can be forwarded to another PC, another server. So generally done with the servers most of the time. Reason being, we don't want to change your IP address. We don't want to change the destination. So we particularly say, so to say, like just simply take one scenario, one particular input, and then specifically that input can be, say to say, forwarded to another server, another IP address. So that can be done. So how do we exactly go around with this particular um, setup of the rules in IP tables? So one of the options is we select IP tables. So for the IP tables, we can simply go for append rules. So how do we append rules? The dash A basically says append the rule. So after dash A, I need to specify which chain I would like to append. So for the particular part, I would like to append input. So suppose from the again similarly the input communication I would like to block the input communication for say um, port sorry protocol TCP. For the TCP protocol I'm blocking it on the destination port. So D port basically means destination port. I would like to block it for 22. So that is the particular setup which I have to do. So basically, I need to mention what is the protocol I would like to block, what is the particular destination port I would like to block, and then I need to set up a target. So for the target, I need to say J, that is the particular so to say command which we need to give. In the J, we have the actions called as accept or drop. So drop basically means the particular things will be deleted, like will be communication will be dropped if I am getting any kind of input from the particular say TCP protocol 22 port, the the packets will be dropped. So that is a particular scenario for my dropping the TCP communication or more like a SSH communication. So if I enter it and if I go again for the tables, now I can see target drop protocol TCP source anywhere, destination anywhere, I'm blocking the particular SSH protocol. So this is how we change the particular scenario with the input table. Similarly, we can go for the IP tables. IP tables, then dash A append. I would like to go for output, and in the output, I would like to again say similarly. I can say TCP. Maybe this time I would like to block HTTP protocol. So HTTP protocol in that particular scenario, say 80 is the port number. So for the particular part, I would like to maybe not block, maybe I would like to accept it because that is the communication I would like to have. Although it is not a secure communication line, but maybe that is required for my uh, maybe application. So I'll say accept. So once I hit enter, if there is no any error message, error warning, then it means the IP tables has been so to say updated. I can also go for dash L dash V dash L dash V will give me more information. So you can here see now accept packet zero packets. Draw byte brackets, 0 bytes. Overall, I can see the particular things has been changed for your chain output and chain input. That is the particular setups which we did just right now. So that's the overall scenario. Suppose I don't want to have these protocols, maybe I would like to go for default setting. Generally, default setting for IP tables is no rules. So for the particular part, I can simply go for IP tables dash P input and I can simply say drop. So if I enter this command for that particular scenario, I can now see there is the particular table was not dropped. I'll just check. Mm, usually it should work, but I guess there is something not working in general. Okay, that's a particular basic, sorry, that is a policy setup.
So dash p basically means, in the particular scenario, whenever input is coming, any input coming from the particular scenario, we need to set up policy as a drop. So if you see this differentiation here, the policy says accept. So basically we are saying accept all the particular inbound rules, um, but the particular policy will be set up to the drop scenario. So this is the specific say um, setup which we are saying the inbound rule for all the other communications are dropped. Now, if I particularly say define another accept rule, then it will be allowing that particular inbound rule or inbound communication to the computer from other network. So that's setting up the particular policy for the whole table. For the whole input table, I can set up the drop policy, or maybe for the whole table, I can select the particular or set up the particular accept policy. So I would like to go for the accept, again back to the accept option. So now if I particularly see, now the policy has changed back to the accept scenario. So these are certain things which we can do generally for the particular part of um, so to say setting up the IP tables for the as a more like a part of um, firewall setup or a security setup. So another option which can be done. So there are multiple options. As much as we can delve into the options, there are so many options. For example, for to block a simple IP or maybe ping options, I need to say append rules. In the append rules, I would like to say input. In input, I would like to block protocol ICMP because ICMP packets will be shared or ICMP communication will be done for a ping option. In the particular same scenario, I need to say ICMP type. In the ICMP type, it is usually echo request. So if any echo request is coming in the particular communication from outside, then please do the action, which is so to say the target, and that target will be dropped. So that is the particular command which we can by which we can so to say drop the particular ICMP communication which is coming inside the particular server. So anyone else who is trying outside from outside and trying to ping my computer will be particularly blocked from the communication. This is more like say ping scan which we studied in nmap. nmap में अगर मैं ping scan कर रहा हूँ तो वो ping scan possible ही नहीं होगा क्योंकि मेरा particular communication blocked है. So that's how we can set up these kind of things. A final command which we can do for the particular IP tables is IP tables save. That basically saves our all the rules which we created with the particular for file format in a file format. So for that particular scenario, we need to type IP tables save, then more greater than sign space etc slash IP tables and slash rules dot v4. So this particular in this particular way, I can set up the rules. So maybe I'll simply write new rules. So this particular new file will be created, and this new file particularly will be can be used for the exporting and importing particular policies. So this is more like a exporting policies for that matter. So if I enter, okay, I'll simply say save the rules. To save the rules, I'll have to go for the rules before. Okay, it is not able to find out. Let me just check. Okay, it is not able to find that particular folder. So in the ATC, we have profiles, we have IPsec. Okay, if we do this, which is Search etc iptables slash rules dot v4. Okay, so I'll do cd etc. In this etc, I will create a directory, make dir. I'll say that should be named as iptables. I'll change my path. So now I can have touch rules.v4. This is a way by which we can create files. So here now I have created that particular file. So I can simply go for iptables save and I can say rules v4. So now if I particularly see that particular, I would like to see suppose that file. In that particular file I hope will be having rules. So this is how I can particularly import or export the particular, like say export the particular rules in a particular file format, and that's it. I guess that's for the particular practical part. I will be specifically giving you which protocols to be blocked, which ports to be blocked, what is to be action, what is action to be done, say what is the drop or the particular accept action, which table to be used, forward table, input table, output table. Do we need to set up the policy for the accept or the particular drop? So all these things will be shared in the exam part. So the same actions, the same format you have to do for the particular um, commands. So you can see the commands for the particular part which we did like this, which is append table, the name of the table, say input, output, forward, whatever is there will come here. Then dash p is basically protocol. Here I'm selecting ICMP type, which is echo request. So that's for the particular part of ICMP. But say for example of port, I can say it by dash dash d port and give the mention the port number. And after that port number, I will give target dash j. And after the target, I will have to write the action, which is accept on the drop. So that's the overall scenario for the um, your firewall practical. So this includes both your Windows and Linux as a firewall scenario, firewall setups.